Good morning. Welcome to Shoot the Shit with DSP. It's Friday. I was in Philly at the Craft Brewers Convention. What is the second C? Craft Brewers, anyway. Had a good time. Got to see a college buddy go rowing one morning on the Schuylkill. We have not rowed together since 1985. So that was a lot of fun. I also got to speak to about 100 brewers and about their restaurants and labor. I got to spend some time with one of my members and his team. Matt Wakefield was there. We had a great time. I was a dud and bagged out on him on the last night because I was exhausted. I don't know. I just got to my hotel room and it was over. The fun part about getting old, man, it's not as exciting to go out and drink and debauchery anymore. Oh, what am I? I'm about to be 60. That's why. Let's get the good mornings going here. We got Steve Ellers in the house. Good morning, Steve. It is awesome to have you. Thank you for the sound check and video check. Ian McCall, wish you were there at the Brewers Conference, my friend. Good morning. From the road, headed to Sacramento. That is going to be quite a ride. Isn't that still 6-8 hours for you? That's far. Sacramento's far. Mary DeLeon's in the house. Good morning, Mary. Hope you're doing awesome. Are you at a coffee shop? Are you at home? Where are you today? Jose, Chicago Taco Authority. Good morning, David. Good morning to you, Jose. It is good to have you. And Seafront Brewing. Deja Wakefield's in the house. I hope you heard we were perfectly behaved in Philadelphia. We were actually kind of very calm and quiet. But we had a good time. It was great to see Matt there. Carlos Z is in the house. What's going on, Carlos? Good morning to you, my friend. It is awesome to have you. I hope you are settling into your new home. I believe you already made the move, if I remember correctly. I try and keep all these details in my head. And that is going well. And the family is adapting. And your ride to work is limited, small. So do me a favor, if you're joining me right now, make sure you're logged into your Google account, your YouTube account. They're synonymously the same thing. So you can participate in the chat, because when I get done with my portion, I'm going to see your comments here. I'll be able to bring them up on screen and answer your questions. In the meantime, we're just going to make sure that we are ready to go here for STS with DSP. And let us get things working here. Here we go. Welcome to Shoot the Shit with DSP. STS with DSP happens every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, travel schedule permitting. We're going to invest about 30 minutes out of your day to get pumped about the upcoming week and get excited about crushing your goals and finding the motivation to be the best you possible. Plus, I'll answer your burning questions. I'm David Scott Peters, creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula, and your coach. And again, as one more reminder, make sure you're logged into your YouTube account or Google account. Same thing, so you can participate in the chat. When I'm done with my portion teaching, I answer your questions. Here we go. Checklists are one of the least sexy, most ignored, and most powerful tools in your restaurant. Yeah, I said it. Not your menu, not your marketing campaign, not some fancy tech platform somebody swears is going to save your life. A checklist. A plain old, boring, easy to overlook checklist. And yet, this tool can reduce mistakes, speed up training, improve accountability, and create a better guest experience without you having to be everywhere at once. That's the part restaurant pros miss. They think checklists are about control. They're not. They're about freedom. Because when your team knows what done looks like, the restaurant gets easier to run. When they don't, everything falls apart into opinions, excuses, missed details, and chaos dressed up like we're busy. And let me tell you over and over again, on coaching calls, both group and one-on-one, I hear the same thing from members. The moment they implement checklists, get team buy-in, and hold managers accountable, the whole restaurant gets easier to operate. Not perfect, easier. Cleaner standards, fewer drop balls, better communication, less babysitting, stronger culture. That's what we're talking about today. The first reason checklists matter is simple. They remove guesswork. Most mistakes in restaurants don't happen because people are lazy or stupid. They happen because expectations live in somebody's head instead of on paper. That's the disease. You've got a manager who says, I thought side work was done. You've got a closer who says, nobody told me. You've got a prep cook who says, I didn't know we did it that way. You've got a server who says, that's not how I was trained. And now, here you are, solving the same problem for the 847th time, wondering why common sense isn't so common. Here's why common sense is not a system. A checklist is. A checklist says, these are the steps, these are the standards, this is what completed looks like. No mystery, no mind reading, no manager folklore passed down from some weird oral tradition in the kitchen. The biggest operational wins come from when you stop hoping people remember and start giving them the tools to succeed. That's what a checklist does. It turns I thought into I know. Now let's talk training. Most restaurant training is inconsistent because it depends too much on who's doing the training. That's the problem. One trainer is thorough, one trainer skips steps, one cares, another is in a hurry, another explains the why, another just says, watch me. That's not training, that's roulette. A checklist gives training structure. It helps a new team member understand what needs to be done, what order it gets done, what good looks like, what they're responsible for. And for managers, it creates a coaching tool instead of a lecture. Now they can say, let's walk the checklist together. Now they can inspect what they expect. Now they can spot where somebody is stuck before it turns into a bigger issue. That matters because speed in training doesn't come from rushing. It comes from clarity. When people know exactly what's expected, they get competent faster. When they don't, they get overwhelmed, make mistakes, lose confidence, or either quit or become dead weight. A solid checklist shortens the path from confusion to confidence. And that makes your entire operation stronger. And by the way, this is why checklists are not some tiny administrative detail. They're not paperwork. They're a training system hiding in plain sight. That's the difference. Now, let's go where this really matters, the guest. Because your guest doesn't care that somebody called out. They don't care that you were slammed. They do not care that your kitchen manager forgot to check the line, or that the opener was new, or that the host stand was short a person. They care about one thing. Did they have a great experience or not? Consistency is what builds trust. Consistency is what drives repeat visits. Consistency is what protects your reputation. And consistency never happens by accident. It happens because there are repeatable standards. Opening checklists, line checklists, dining room checklists, bathroom checklists, closing checklists, shift change checklists, prep checklists. These aren't just tasks. They're safeguards. They protect the guest experience from human inconsistency. Because here's the truth. Your team can care and still miss things. Good people forget. Busy people rush. Experienced people cut corners. New people don't know what they don't know. Checklists catch what people miss. That's the power. The best run restaurants aren't better because their people are magically perfect. They're better because they built systems that support people in doing the right things every single day. Now, here's the part I really want you to hear. Checklists don't just improve operations, they improve culture. That may sound dramatic, but it's true. Because culture is not a poster on the wall. It's not your mission statement framed in the office. It's not what you say you stand for. Culture is what your team sees tolerated every day. When there's no checklist, or there are checklists nobody uses, the culture becomes do your best. Good enough. Maybe. Depends on who's working. Nobody checks anyway. That culture creates resentment. Your A players get frustrated because they carry the team. Your managers get exhausted because they chase people instead of leading them. Your weaker performers learn they can slide by without consequences. That's poison. But when you implement checklists, get team buy-in, and hold managers accountable, the culture shifts. Now the message is, we have standards. We support each other. We finish what we start. We don't leave success up to chance. We do what we said we'd do. That creates pride. That creates trust. That creates fairness. Because everybody knows the rules, right? When everybody knows the rules, everybody knows what winning looks like. Everybody knows that they'll be held to the same standard. And on coaching calls, I hear this over and over. Once the checklist process sticks, the restaurant feels calmer. Managers stop arguing about whether something gets done. Teams stop blaming each other as much. The whole place feels tighter, stronger, and more professional. Why? Because clarity reduces friction. That's not just operations, that's culture. Now let's get real for a second. A checklist by itself does nothing. You can type up the prettiest checklist in the world, laminate it, put it on a clipboard, maybe even use bold font because you're feeling wild, and it still won't matter. Because the value is not having the checklist. The value is using the checklist. This is where restaurant pros blow it. They create a tool, but they don't inspect it. They announce the system, but they don't reinforce it. They want accountability, but they avoid uncomfortable conversations. That doesn't work. If a manager signs off on a checklist without verifying it, the checklist becomes theater. If team members know nobody checks, the checklist becomes wallpaper. If standards are missed and nothing happens, the checklists become a joke. And once it becomes a joke, now you've got a bigger problem than not having one in the first place. So let's be crystal clear. Checklists require accountability. Managers must own them. Managers must verify them. Managers must coach from them. Managers must be held accountable when they don't enforce them. That's why the trigger for this episode is so important. It's not just implementation, it's implementation, buy-in, and accountability. That trio is where the magic happens. Not because checklists are magical, because the leadership is. This is the part nobody likes because it means you can't just hand out paper and call it a day. You actually have to lead. Annoying, I know, but it's the game. Now here's the trap. Once people get excited about systems, they try to fix everything at once. Bad move. See, they create 17 checklists. They overwhelm the team. They launch all of them at the same week. Nobody remembers what's what. Nobody follows through. And then they say, checklists don't work for us. No, you worked against yourself. Start with one checklist, one area, one win. Pick the biggest pain point in your restaurant right now. Is it opening? Is it closing? Is it line checks? Is it shift change? Is it restroom cleanliness? Is it prep execution? Is it manage your daily duties? Pick one place where you drop balls, and those drop balls are costing you time, energy, money, and guest satisfaction. Then build one checklist for that one thing. Keep it simple, keep it clear, keep it usable, and train it like it matters. Then inspect it, then coach it, then refine it. Once that one sticks, move on to the next one. This is how you build operational discipline without making your team want to fake their own disappearance. Here's your Monday action. Pick one checklist and get it started. That's it. Not 10, not a whole binder, not an operations manual you've been pretending you're going to finish for 3 years. One checklist. Choose the area in your restaurant where inconsistency is heard. Okay, I am trying to come back live right now. Sorry about that. I looked over, computer seemed to reboot itself. I don't know if that's a Windows thing. So I am working on it right now as we speak to be able to get right back to where we want to be. It says we're on. Let's see here. That is not going to work. I'm working on it. What is going on? All right, that is not going to work. All right, we're back. It looks like. All right, let me move this over to there. All right, that is working. Well, that was fun. There we go. All right, I don't know. Are you guys still with me? Are we still working here? Let's see here. Oh, that's not working. Oh my gosh. This is unbelievable. I've got to bring it over here. I'm going to switch to this camera angle and see how we're doing. All right. I'm going to apologize. Are you guys still with me? It looks like we have kept a couple of you. I cannot work all of my technology. Carlos says, yes, we're still here. All right, well, let's let's see if this will. I've lost my controls. Lost all my controls. That's fantastic. All right, well, I'm going to finish it off here. And let's finish where I am. I think we were on our Monday action. So let me just finish off and say, make sure you pick one checklist, because once you do so, that one checklist becomes a standard. That one checklist, that one standard can become a habit. And one habit can change the culture. That's how this works. So that's the basic gist on finishing this up. But here's the deal. You've got to make sure that you look at your checklist and understand they're the most underrated profit tool, and it's sitting right in front of you. Not because it's glamorous, because it works. And in this business, the stuff that works beats the stuff that looks impressive every single time. So let's go make that happen. Now we're going to open up to your questions. I've lost all composure because we were live and it died. So let's see here. All right. Angel says we're still here. Yeah. All right. Now it's time for your questions. I have lost my controls for my little control panel here. So I'm not going to be able to bring up your questions. I'm going to have to read them, make sure my glasses work. I'm going to have to rely on YouTube. So for those of you stuck around, thank you. Technology, sorry about that. No idea what happened, but computer just literally went whoop, black. So that was no fun. All right, what kind of questions do we have? Looks to here that there's still a bunch of you still on here with me. So let's see what kind of questions you have. If not, maybe the confusion has confused everybody. Let's see how I'm doing here. We still have a little bit of time. No questions? I know there's about a 15-second delay. Normally there's a 15-second delay. I don't know what coming back live on a live stream where I disappeared, how far that delays things. Nothing? Oh, here we go. Carlos says, met with Mario and the KM yesterday. Key focus, portioning, weighing high-cost ingredients to lower cost of goods sold, implementing waste sheet, and increasing supervisor oversight on server checklist. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. I don't think you definitely didn't pick things that are going to overwhelm your team, but you're adding accountability and standards. And I promise you, you start weighing things and you start using, you said, was the waste tracker or the key item tracker? You said waste sheet. Here's the key. Weigh the things in prep, weigh the things in pre-portion bags, weigh the things that go on the line, especially for you where so many of your ingredients is fresh fish, is gold. Make sure we're putting the right portions on the plate. That's fantastic. That's going to give your guest consistency and a standard. It's going to control your costs. It's going to teach your team that standards matter. It's going to change your culture. The waste tracker, I want to make sure that every night, everything that's written down on the waste sheet, the closing manager, opening at the very least, looks at it and decides a strategy on how to avoid what was wasted that day. So if we've got a prep issue, fix the prep issue. If we've been overbuying, fix the buying issue. If we've been over slacking, if we have some fish that's IQF and we have to thaw it first and we thaw too much and it goes bad and we throw it away, create a system that we're not over slacking. The key with a waste tracker is what you proactively do with it the day you see that there's a problem. That's critical. And then making sure front of house use these checklists, that's going to be fantastic. Good on you, my friend. Matt Plapp says, DSP, month away from Vegas, baby. Owners, this can't miss event. Don't miss. Well, I'm going to say owners, don't miss this can't. Either way. So what Matt is reminding us is that if you go to my site, davidscottpeters.com, go up the upper right-hand side, I believe it says live event or live seminar. Make sure you attend our 2-day seminar in Las Vegas. Matt is the only guest speaker I have. He's going to be touching on the marketing side of the business, but it's 2 days primarily of operations that I give you the same systems and tools I give my members to change your life, change your world. I've got members, half that room are going to be members who are bringing managers to what we say drink the Kool-Aid, to buy in and understand what we're working towards. It's often also members who want to see the whole picture put together. Why are we working towards what we're working? But I have people who are non-members, and that everyone's welcome. In fact, Jack just came back after a year, came to one seminar, a year later brought a manager back and made incredible changes. I think lowered prime costs from mid-70s down to 50s. All on his own, using the systems he learned in the 2-day seminar. It's only $500 a person if you don't get 10 times return on your investment. And if you want to upgrade to the VIP, we still have a group coaching call coming up. You get your P&L review, and you get to attend a social on the first night where my team, Matt and his team will be there, and other restaurant owners, where I'll have an open bar and some finger foods for us to eat, little sliders and things like that at Ellis Island at the front yard. Come join us. Love to have you. Thanks for the plug there, Matt. Anybody else have any questions? Again, I apologize for losing my computer. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to look into it, make sure it wasn't a Windows update or what the hell happened, but that sucker restarted. That's all I can tell you. All right, let me double check my calendar. I believe I am in town next week and that we have an STS. Let's take a look. There is a shoot the shit. Looks like the next 2 weeks, and then we're getting close to the seminar. And when I'm at the seminar, there'll be no STS. I'll be driving home. And double check any last minute comments. There's nothing here. So I'm gonna have to get up because this controller is not working right now. So I'm gonna have to sign off from over here. So excuse me as I walk my ass by you. But go out there, kick some ass. We'll see you next week on Shoot the Shit with DSP. And thanks for hanging with me with our technology issues. Peace. Bye, everybody.